अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नु'मिनु बिही व नतवक्कलु अलैहि व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना व मिन सय्यिआति अमालिना من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا ومولانا صلى الله تعالى عليه وأهله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو على كل شيء عليم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم الأمين. وقال قال رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه: أول ما خلق الله نوري، أو كما قال الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم عليه. हम्द और सना के बाद मेरे वाजिब एहतराम बुजुर्ग और दोस्तों, अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। अल्लाह तबारक व तआला जल्ल जलालुहु व अमन वालुहु का ला तादाद अनगिन बेशुमार शुक्र है कि हमें अशरफुल मखलूकात में से इंसान पैदा फरमाया, और सिर्फ ये नहीं बल्कि हमें आका इनामदार ताजदार मदीना फ़ख्र मौजूदात अहमद मुज्तबा मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि वसल्लम के उम्मती बनाए। हमारे उस्ताद नायब गौसे आज़म इब्न मुर्तज़ा इब्न हसनैन करीमैन सैयद हसीनुद्दीन शाह साहब फरमाया करते थे, आप फरमाते हैं कि वो नूर जिससे चमकती थी तेरी पिशानी, वो नूर जिससे चमकती थी तेरी पिशानी, उसी की थी मैं तालिब और उसी की थी मैं दीवानी। मगर मैं क्या करूं कि आज किस्मत मेरी फूटी है, सुना है कि आमिना ने वो दौलत से लूटी है। My brother Islam, we must thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the grace of His beloved Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, who has brought us together, alhamdulillah, on this great month, wallah, we would say the greatest month in the whole Islamic calendar, which is known as rabi awwal, that month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His beloved Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam to us. The Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in Holy Quran, huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru, that the first was Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wal akhiru, and the last, he sent him last upon this earth. Wal awwalu wal akhiru was zahiru wal batin, and he sent him in such a way where he was zahir, he was open to everybody, wal batin, and also he was hidden from everybody. My brother Islam, the first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created was the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. My brother Islam, it is stated at least 40,000 years before Adam alayhi salatu wasalam could be put between the sand and water to be made into an idol. 40,000 years before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created my beloved Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Like how my Ustad, he says, wo noor jisse chamakti thi teri pishani. He explains the greatness of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created the idol of Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the idol, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then decided to put the ruh, put the life into the body of Adam alayhi salam. It is stated, Khuda ki qasam, the life went inside and came out the other side. The ruh went inside the body of Adam alayhi salam and came out the other side. He said, Ya Allah, inside this body is very dark. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam inside the body. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the ruh of Adam alayhi salam into the body of Adam alayhi salatu wa salam, and the ruh went inside, never come out the other side. Through the sadaqah and wasila of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam nur itself. And that nur, it was stated that it was traveling from Nabi to Nabi, Nabi to Nabi, until it came to the forehead of Abdullah, the father of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, on his forehead. So that lady says, in those days, Hazrat Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the father of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, used to do tijarat. He used to go from one town to the other town, and they used to barter. It is stated that when he went into one town, a lady saw him and went to him, and she started saying that, hey Abdullah, I want to marry you. She was pulling his clothes, pulling his hand, and said, Abdullah, I want to marry you. You can't go without marrying me. And Hazrat Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala said, hey, wait. Let me go back and come back. I'm going back to my house, my hometown. When I go back, I come back, we'll see what happens. And he stated, when Hazrat Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala goes back to Makkah to Mukarramah, and he gets married to Bibi Amina radiallahu ta'ala, and he goes back to that town again, he sees that lady who wanted to marry him, who was pulling his hand and saying, you can't go back until you marry me. He says that this lady now, when she looks at Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala, she turns her face away. Then my Ustad explains what happened. He says, wo noor jisse chamakti thi teri pishani. That noor that was shining from your forehead, usi ki thi main talib aur usi ki thi main diwani. That is what I wanted, that noor that was shining from your forehead. I was going mad and crazy for that noor that was on your forehead. Magar main kya karu ki aaj kismat meri phuti hai. What can I do? My kismat is being broken. Suna hai ki Amina ne wo daulat tujhse luti hai. I heard that Bibi Amina had taken that noor away from me. And that noor that was shining, Khuda ki qasam, was my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam noor. And he said, aaj kismat meri phuti hai, my kismat is broken today. Why? Because I heard that Bibi Amina had taken that noor away from me. That was the time when Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala had married Bibi Amina, and after marrying, that noor of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam from him was gone into Bibi Amina radiallahu ta'ala anha. My brother Islam, the noor of Nabi alayhi salatu wa sallam was the first thing that Allah created. One day Jibreel alayhi salam came to my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked, Ya Jibreel, what is your age? He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, I don't know what my age is. But Ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, there is one star. There is one star that shines after every 70,000 years. There is one star that shines after every 70,000 years. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, I saw that star 72,000 times.
Allah.
I saw that star 72,000 times. And Nabi alayhi salatu wa sallam says, Wa izzatu rabbi zalikal kawkab. I take the izzat and qasam of Allah, that star was me.
Allah.
Imagine the age of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was nothing in this earth, wallah, it was Allah, it was the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Imam Kastalani rahmatullah alayhi says, you take the zameen or zama, you take the zameen, the asman, every single thing that you can see in this world, even Jannat, even Jahannam, every single thing, before everything was Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam nur. And if you put the nur of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam on one side of the scale, you put everything in this world, every single atom that you find in this world on one side of the scale, Khuda ki qasam, you'll find the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam would be heavier than every single thing that you see in this dunya. That is why, my brother Islam, this month is so great, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His beloved Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam to us. huwa al-awwal wal-akhir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the first greatest thing that I ever created was my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, nur itself. And from that nur, everything that you see in this dunya, Khuda ki qasam, was created from the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu wa salam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had taken him out of Jannah, he came on this earth. He said, for 500 years, Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was making dua to Allah, Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, forgive me. He went this side, he went that side. He tried everything that he wanted to try. Every type of ibadat. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forgave him. One day he remembered. And he said, Ya Allah, through the sadaqah and wasila of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, forgive me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya Adam, how did you know about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He says, Ya Allah, when you created me and I opened my eyes, وَهُوَ مَكْتُوبٌ فِي الْعَرْشِ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ مُحَمَّدٌ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّم. When I opened my eyes, I looked in the arsh. I saw in the arsh was written, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I thought to myself, that name must be so great, Khuda ki qasam, that is next to your name, Ya Allah. Rather, I take that name that is close to you, Ya Allah. And I took that name, Khuda ki qasam, and through sadaqah and wasila of the name of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him for all his sins. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept him like that. My dear Islam, let's we all get together, recite the Durood and Salam upon Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us also for all our guna. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us barakah in our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better Muslims of the future. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala al-nabi. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Mawlana wa barik wa sallim wa sallim alayhi. You know, one day, Hazrat Shish alayhi salam. Hazrat Shish alayhi salam was the son of Adam alayhi salam. So he says to his father, tell me, are you greater or the last Nabi is greater? First time he asked him, Adam alayhi salam kept quiet. Second time, oh father, are you greater or the last Nabi greater? Kept quiet. The third time when he was asked, Ya Adam, are you great or the last Nabi is great? He says, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nur, Allah would not even create me. That is the greatness of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My brother Islam, it is even stated that even 1,000 years before my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam could come in the dunya, my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam zikr was being made. We came now, people are saying to us, why are you making so much zikr of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? We say 1,000 years before my Nabi could come into this dunya also, Allah was making zikr of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know, there was a king whose name was Taba Humeri. Taba Humeri was from Yemen. So he decided one day that he'll go on a journey to go and see the Kaaba. So he took with him 1,200 ulama. The ulama that knew the book. I say priest. 1,200 of them, and they went on this journey now. Every town they stopped. We're talking now about 1,000 years before my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam could come into existence in this dunya. It is stated that Taba Umari, whichever town he stopped, people used to look at him, they used to respect him. They say the king has come. They bow down, they respect him, give him gifts, whatever the case may be. But when he came to Makkah to Mukarramah, he see nobody is bothered about him. So he asked the Wazir, tell me Wazir, why are the people not respecting me? I'm a great king, I'm a Badshah. He says, yeah, in this town here there is a house. And that house is that kind of house which, if that is present, they respect nobody else besides that house. Allah. And that was the house of Allah, which is the Kaaba. So he thought in his mind, you know what? These people are so arrogant, they don't even look at me. Rather, I kill all the men and take the women and make them slaves. Allah. When he thought that in his mind, it is stated Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a sickness in his head. His head started paining. So much his head started paining that nobody could put his headache right. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him that kind of sickness that from his ears, from his nose, from his mouth, this certain type of liquid was coming out, and it had such a bad smell that nobody wanted to stay near him. Not even his wife or anyone that was near him could stay near him because the smell was so bad. And they tried every type of hukama, that means every type of doctor, every type of hakim, to put it right. But nobody could come to an understanding that what is wrong with this man, and what kind of medicine can we give him to put him right. So it is stated, from all those doctors or hakims, there was one old man. He came to him and said, Badshah Salama, tell me. I won't tell nobody. Tell me, what did you think in your mind before you come here? He says, no, I thought in my mind, because people are not respecting me, I will kill all the men. I will make all the women my slaves, because they're not respecting me. He said, oh Badshah Salamat, here there is one type of house here, which is the house of Allah. And with this house being here, nobody can respect anyone else besides the house of Allah. So please, ask for forgiveness from Allah for what you thought in your mind. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. And he stated, Khuda ki qasam, he made dua to Allah. He turned to Allah and asked for forgiveness from his heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. And his sickness also went away. After his sickness went away, he made ta'zeem of the Kaaba. He put ghilaf upon the Kaaba. He covered the Kaaba with a ghilaf. And then he made respect there. He told all his people that you must respect the people that is living here in the vicinity of the Kaaba. People of Makkah to Mukarramah, respect them and give them whatever they need and be good to them. After which, he turns around and he is going and he's leaving the Kaaba with all his ulama. And they travel and they travel and they travel and they come to a place which is known as Yasrib. Now Yasrib is known, in those days it was known as a place of sickness. Place of sickness. Now that place, the ulama, when they stopped there, the ulama, they said, hey Badshah Salamat, we're not going back. Because we read in our books, 1,000 years before Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam could put his foot in the dunya. We read in our books that the last Nabi Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam is going to come and he's going to put his foot here in Madinatul Munawwara, and this is going to be the place where he's going to stay. Madinatul Munawwara was that place only after Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam put his foot there. That place which is known as the place of sickness, when my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam put his foot there, Khuda ki qasam, that place of sickness became the place of shifa. It is stated, Khuda ki qasam, even up to today, when people got sickness in their body, they go to Madinatul Munawwara, they roll themselves in the sand, and the sickness goes away. That is through a sadaqah and wasila of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now it is stated that this king he heard that the last Nabi is going to come here. So he said, no problem, I will stay here. I also want to meet him, because I also bring Iman also on him. So he stayed at least for about a few years, stayed there, and then he couldn't stay anymore. So he said to them, okay, now I'm leaving now. So 400 ulama that were with him, they said, we're not coming with you. We want to stay here. So what he did, he freed 400 slaves of his and got them married to the ulama, and he made houses for them. And from all the ulama, there was one that was big, the greatest priest. So he built a house, and he said to him, this house must be for the last Nabi. Allah. This house must be for the last Nabi. And he wrote a letter to Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said in that letter that, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if you are reading this letter, you must know that I accept you as the last Nabi. Allah. I am in the same deen as your grandfather, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, coming from there. And I accept you as the last Nabi, and on the day of Qiyamah, I make dua that you intercede on my behalf as well. Amen. 1,000 years before, Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam could come into existence, and he left that letter with that priest, and he said to him, you must keep this letter and send it from nasal dar nasal, in your generation to generation to generation, until my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes to this town. And make sure that letter is presented to him. And this house that is here is built for him as well. Allah. And he must come and he must stay here. How many years? 1,000 years before Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam could come into the dunya. And it is stated, Wallah, my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, when he was born and when he was migrating to Madinatul Munawwara, and as he comes into Madinatul Munawwara, you know the children used to say, Tala al-Badru alayna min saniyatil wada'i. That the sun, this thing, the moon has come out, the sun has come out, the noor is coming. And everybody went out playing the dove. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, when he comes into Madinatul Munawwara, the people of Madinatul Munawwara was catching the reins of the camel of his and saying, come to my house, come to my house, come to my house. My Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, leave my camel. For my camel knows where his place is. Allah. And he will go to his own place. Allah. My Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was watching with his own eyes, my brothers. And his camel went and sat right there by that house of Hazrat Ayyub Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And Hazrat Ayyub Ansari radiallahu ta'ala was from that generation of the ulama, that great alim. And that letter was with him. And that letter was presented to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. My Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya Ali, read this letter for me. When the name of Taba Humairi came out, my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam immediately made dua for him. And he knew exactly who he was. My brother Islam, my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam zikr was even made before we were born, before we could even come into existence. So who are we not to make the zikr of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Through him we got everything in this dunya. Through sadqa and wasila of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we are who we are today. I give you one hadith inshallah of the greatness of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and I'll finish up from there. You know, he stated that my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent 124,000 Nabis and Rasul to this earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave each and every one a mu'jiza, a miracle. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him an asa, like this, asa. When he threw this asa on the ground, it became a snake. When he took this asa and hit it in the sea, a roach came about. He took the asa, he hit it on a rock, water shot out. My brother Islam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam had that mu'jiza with him. When it came the time of Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a mu'jiza that when he put his hand on somebody that was born blind, they could see. When Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam put his hand on somebody's leg that was broken, his leg came right. Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, they say there was a bird, they cut the bird in 4 pieces, put the pieces in each corner of a peak. And when Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam called that bird, the pieces came together and the bird came flying to him. Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam had that mu'jiza in him. But when it came to the last Nabi, Nabi Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give him any mu'jiza. Now you think to yourself, why? The greatest Nabi, Nabi Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, no mu'jiza. How is this possible? He said, my brothers, come and see. When it came the time of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Allah didn't give him any mu'jiza. But Khuda ki qasam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam from his head to his toe, a miracle on his own. Head to his toe, miracle on his own. One day has Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu was in those days what you would call a miskin. Miskin, my brother Islam, how you say a beggar. Not in today's time. Today's time you only see him wearing torn clothes, but you don't know, you go to his house, he got everything. Miskin in those days, a true miskin, true beggar, is that person when he has one meal, he doesn't know when the next meal is going to come from. So as Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one day he didn't eat for many days. Bukhari Sharif, Muslim Sharif hadith, authentic hadith. It was the early days of Islam. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu didn't eat for many days, so he thought to himself, you know what? Let me sit here in the road, going to the market. Maybe somebody will see me, they'll give me something and go away. So he sat out. After some time, he sees my beloved Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam coming. Soon as he sees my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam coming, he starts smiling. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam starts smiling at him. He knew that when he saw that face, that noor that was shining from my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Aaj to mera kaam ban jayega. Zarur banega." So my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he come, he say, Ya Abu Huraira, come with me. Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala, happy now. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ya Abu Huraira, come with me. So he comes with him, he goes to the barakah of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he sits down and he waits. After some time, a glass of milk was presented to my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One glass. The hadith says one glass. Now Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala said, Ab to mera kaam banega, zarur banega. You are happy now? The milk came nicely, get something to drink. My Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam farmate, hey Abu Hurairah, go in the back gully, you'll find Ashab al-Sufa. Now Ashab al-Sufa is a jamaat of people that has come from another town. They come to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They come to learn from him. Say, hey Abu Hurairah, go to that gully in the back, go call the Ashab al-Sufa and come. Now Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala says, one glass of milk, ab mera kya hoga yaar? Anyway, he goes, he calls the Ashab al-Sufa, and I say it was a jamaat. Jamaat meaning it was over 20 people. Some says in the hadith he said up to 70 people with him. So everybody had filled the darbar of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Hurairah right in the back. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala said, ab to mera kaam nahi banega. Early days of Islam, they said, what am I going to do? I'm hungry here. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, hey Abu Hurairah, where are you? He said, Labbaik ya Rasulullah, Labbaik, I'm right in the back. He said, Abu Hurairah, come. He goes in the front, he said, Abu Hurairah, take this glass of milk and feed. Now I say, mera kya hoga, one glass of milk, 70 of them sitting here. He takes a glass of milk and he starts to feed. He said, Khuda ki kasam, I fed and I fed and I fed until each and every one of them drank to their fullest. Allah. When I look inside the cup, Khuda ki kasam, I see the cup is still full. Now Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, hey Abu Hurairah, now you hold and I'll drink. And he says, Abu Hurairah was feeding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he drank till his fullest. And he said, now Abu Hurairah, now you sit and I will feed you. Allah. And he says, I drank and I drank and I drank until I couldn't have, there was no place left in my stomach. And Khuda ki kasam, when I look at that cup, it was still full to the brim. This is the mu'jiza of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My brother Islam, do not think in your mind, do not even have that thinking in your mind that Allah's Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam can't give you anything. Khuda ki kasam, what you can't even imagine, my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam will give you. That is why the Sahaba Ikram Allah, even if they got cut in their finger, they went to the darbar of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They never think for 1 second that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not a doctor. Why are they going there to the darbar? They knew no matter what it is, Khuda ki kasam, Huzur ke darbar mein jayenge, Khuda ki kasam kabhi khali haath nahi se lutenge nahi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the karam and the understanding that whenever you ask in the darbar of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam denge aur ji bhar ke denge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that in our heart, make us better Muslims of the future. Wa ma alina illa al-balagh al-mubin. Jazakumullahu khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر والله أكبر
الله
لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة Islam make dua inshallah to sadaqah and wasila of Rabi awwal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all our marhumeen Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all those that are sick shifa kamila wa ajila. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all those that are in mushkil, in hardship, ease through sadaqah and wasila of the nur of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you barakah in your houses. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you barakah in whatever you put your hand in. Through sadaqah and wasila of my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah الذي جعل يوم الجمعة سيد الأيام ولا نعبده ولا نستعينه إلا إياه وهو الذي فرض الصلاة الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله والصلاة على سيدنا وعلى آله وأصحابه الكرام خصوصا أفضل البشر بعض الأنبياء بالتحقيق أمير المؤمنين أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى ناتب الصدق والصواب أمير المؤمنين عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى كامل الحياء والإكرام أمير المؤمنين عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى غالب كل غالب علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى الإمامين سيدين شهيدين أبي محمد ياسر عبد الله الحسين وعلى أمهما سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء رضي الله تعالى عنها وعلى من شريفي الناس الحمزة والعباس وعلى ستة الباقية من العشرة المبشرة وسائر الصحابة رضوان الله أجمعين. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن الذي ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات وذكر الحكيم إنه تعالى جواد كريم بر رؤوف رحيم. إنا أتيناك الكوثر يا إلهي الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم 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 عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد بعدد من قاد وقام، وصل على جميع الانبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكتك المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. ان الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولا ذكر الله تعالى وأولى وعز وجل وتم وهم أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو على كل شيء عليم. صدق الله مولانا الذي وبلغنا الرسول النبي الكريم الأمين. وقال رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم: هو الأول ما خلق الله نوري، أو كما قال الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم تقبل هذه صلاة الجمعة في ghulestaana muhayyuddeen ببركة سيد الدين شاه صاحب بركاته العالية. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم عليه.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قامت الصلاة قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. صفوا صفوفكم يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. अल्लाहु अकबर वलिल्लाहिल हम्द सुबहानल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वल्लाहु अकबर वलिल्लाहिल हम्द सुबहानल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वल्लाहु अकबर वलिल्लाहिल हम्द वला हौला वला कुव्वता इल्ला बिल्लाहिल अलीय्यिल अज़ीम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वल आक़िबतु लिल मुत्तक़ीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिहि मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि अजमाइन या रसूलल्लाहि उन्ज़ुर हालना या हबीबल्लाह इस्मा क़ौलना इन्नना फी बहरि गम्मिन मुग़रक़ुन खुज़ यदी सहिल लना अश्क़ौलना या इलाही रहम फरमा मुस्तफ़ा के वास्ते या रसूल अल्लाह करम कीजिए खुदा के वास्ते मुश्किल हल कर शे मुश्किल कुशा के वास्ते करबलाए रज शहीदे करबला के वास्ते या इलाही तू अपने हबीब मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि वसल्लम के सदके तुफैल या इलाही बीवी फातिमा ज़हरा रज़ियल्लाहु तआला अन्हा के सदके तुफैल या इलाही शर खुदा हज़रत अली करमल्लाहु वजहुल करीम के सदके तुफैल या इलाही हसनैन करीमैन इमाम हसन इमाम हुसैन के सदके तुफैल या इलाही इमाम ज़ैनुल आबिदीन रज़ियल्लाहु तआला के सदके तुफैल या इलाही इमाम बाकिर के सदके तुफैल या इलाही इमाम जाफर सादिक के सदके तुफैल या इलाही शेख अब्दुल कादिर जिलानी रज़ियल्लाहु तआला के सदके तुफैल या इलाही ख्वाजा गरीबुन नवाज के सदके तुफैल या इलाही ख्वाजा पीर मेहर अली के सदके तुफैल या इलाही ख्वाजा पीर सैयद जियाउद्दीन शाह साहब के सदके तुफैल या इलाही पीर सैयद गुलाम मुहय्युद्दीन शाह साहब के सदके तुफैल या इलाही पीर सैयद अब्दुल रहमान शाह साहब के सदके तुफैल और या इलाही नायब गौसे आजम इब्न मुर्तजा इब्न हसनैन करीमैन सैयद हसीनुद्दीन शाह साहब के सदके तुफैल या इलाही हमारी नमाज जुमा को आपके दरबार में कबूल और मकबूल फरमा या इलाही रहम फरमा करम फरमा तमाम मुश्किलात से हल फरमा हल मुश्किलात या दाफियल बलियात या इलाही हम जितने भी हाथ उठाए हुए या इलाही आपके दरबार में या इलाही हम गुनहगार हैं सियाकार हैं टूटे हुए जिल्लत में हैं लेकिन जो कुछ भी है तेरे प्यारे हबीब मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि वसल्लम के मोहब्बत करने वाले या इलाही हमारे दुआओं को आपके दरबार में कबूल और मकबूल फरमा या इलाही हमें आका इनामदार ताजदार मदीना फख्र मौजूदात अहमद मुज्तबा मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि वसल्लम की तमाम सुन्नतों पर अमल करने की तौफीक अता फरमा और आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के नक्शे कदम पर चलने की तौफीक अता फरमा और बिलखुसूस आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के साथ दिल के गहराइयों से मोहब्बत करने की तौफीक अता फरमा इलाही बाके बनी फातिमा कि बरकोल ईमा कुनी खातिमा अगर दावत अमरद कुनी वर कबूल मनो दस्त दामान अहले रसूल बिबरकतिन अल्लाह व मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मौलाना व बारिक व सल्लिम अलैहि Hi, what? Your birthday today? Oh, yeah.
43.
43. آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين يا رسول الله انظر حالنا يا حبيب الله اسمع قالنا إننا في بحر غم مغرق فزيدي سحل لنا أشقالنا يا إلهي جو लंगर है ziaee daryaee अक्रमी के नाम के सदके तो फैल अहले बैत के सदके तो फैल या इलाही इस खाने में ऐसे बरकत नसीब फरमा जो भी इसको खाए अगर बीमार है उनको शिफाए कामिल अता फरमा जो बेऔलाद है उनको औलाद अता फरमा जो बेरोजगार है उनको रोजगारी अता फरमा या इलाही करम फरमा इज्जत फरमा हिफाजत फरमा तमाम मुश्किलात से हल फरमा अहल अल मुश्किलात के दाफी अल बरियात बबरकतिन अल्लाह व मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अला नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुबारक व सल्लिम वसल्लिम
You don't have a small bowl here or something. Huh?
We're going to check that.
Cool drink.
Eh?
Yes, yes.
Wait, only two.
No, one more. Where's the other one?
Where's the other dish?
Dia aku diambil dia banyak.
पर सलाम तुम पर, सलाम शाह अनाम तुम पर। जो सब्ज़ गुंबद की हो ज़ियारत, तो हाथ उठाकर बसद अकीदत, मिले हमें भी यही सआदत। सलाम हम बेकसों का ले जा, नबी के रोज़े पे जाने वाले, दुरूद तुम पर सलाम तुम पर, सलाम शाह अनाम तुम पर। मदीने जाकर कभी न आओ, मदीने में अपना घर बनाओ, नबी के रोज़े के सामने ही खुदा करे मुझे मौत आए। सलाम हम बेकसों का ले जा, नबी के रोज़े पे जाने वाले, दुरूद तुम पर सलाम तुम पर, सलाम शाह
अनाम तुम पे।
अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या हबीब अल्लाह, अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या खातमन नबिय्यीन। आमीन। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वल आक़िबतु लिल मुत्तक़ीन, वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिहि मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि अजमईन। या रसूल अल्लाह उन्जुर हालना, या हबीब अल्लाह इस्मा क़ौलना, इन्नना फी बहरि गम्मिन मुग़रक़ुन खुज़ यदी सहिल लना अशक़ालना। अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बना आतिना फ़िद दुनिया हसनतन व फ़िल आख़िरह हसनतन व क़िना अज़ाबन नार व क़िना अज़ाबल क़ब्रि व क़िना अज़ाबल हश्र व क़िना अज़ाबद दीन। अल्लाहुम्मा तक़ब्बल हाज़िहि सलातल जुमा फ़ी ग़ुलस्तान मुहय्युद्दीन बिबरकति सय्यिद ziaee शाह साहब दाम बरकातुहुल आलिया। इन्नल्लाह व मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मौलाना व बारिक व सल्लिम व सल्लिम।
माशाअल्लाह माशाअल्लाह। You found it?
Yeah. Wait, go container for the this side. Container.
Oh yeah?
Hajafuna container. Moeli.
Where's the Sprite?
number now.
So true. No. Yeah.
Imam Mawla left is
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, but all the duas are with us.
Yeah, true, eh?
Yeah. But being a grandfather is another story.
Something else, eh?
Oh, yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
At least you're there to see.
Hey, I mean, yeah, make shukr to Allah. At least He gave you the first one to see.
That's it, yeah.